Hello there, chess friends. I'm going to show you right now the game number 9 between Nepomniachtchi and Liren. The game was very exciting again, but this time we got to draw, and that was different. It's the game where again some missed chances maybe happened, maybe not. I'm not completely sure. Everybody has their own opinion. And let's jump immediately on the game. So the game started with white's. White was Nepo and he played e4 and then chooses e5. Knight f3, knight c6, and we got into Spanish, Ruy Lopez. Ding played the move knight f6, trying to go into the Berlin and actually try to maintain some kind of drawish variation. In the earlier stage of this match, he played d6, and it was a good try, but he accidentally lost the game, probably because of the low amount of time. And then he came back right now on this Berlin thing he used to play before. Also here, well-known move is the other move a6, which causes the other stuff in the Morphy defense in the Spanish variation of the Ruy Lopez. So we got knight f6, d3. So this is an interesting moment. The main move here is usually castle, and after knight e4, rook e1. With following knight d6, knight e5, we most likely get pretty normal options in the Spanish defense. And now after bishop f7, there's potentially bishop f1. After that, white is going to try d4, and the game is going to be slightly better for white. But Nepo chooses some kind of the sideline, but pretty much a novelty these days, which is very popular. d3 here. It's actually popular because this is not giving black easy chance to get a drawish middle game. It's actually asking for a longer fight, which Nepo definitely wanted with white pieces instead of just an easy draw. So black got bishop c5 and we got c3. This is Italian, almost Italian right now. The only difference is that bishop is on b5. So after this position, black played castle, and now d5. So Ding played d5 in order to open up a position a little bit. For example, knight d2 is a thing here, and it happened in the game. Also, e takes d5 is a thing which can happen, by the way. But after e takes d5, there's queen d5, and this pawn looks a little bit questionable on d3. He can become a target after some eventual bishop f5. I just prefer black's position. It is just more comfortable on di. So Nepo chooses to play knight e2, and now takes, pawn takes, pretty common stuff going into similarity, and now we got a5. Okay, this is an interesting option. Why? Because now white can capture here. But what actually happens after all of this? Well, black can actually play rook e8, and after knight c6, there's queen d6 attacking this knight. Knight comes back, and now black can actually capture. And after capturing queen d4, this position just looks ugly for white. It just feels like his pieces are so passive, while black's pieces are so active. It just looks very hard for me to imagine what is white going to do here. That's actually the thing. So after a5, actually Nepo took the chance to play a4, following by not potentially b4, but maybe knight b3, and white is okay pretty much here, but black also does have so many problems or something. So Ding played queen e7. The idea just rook d8, I guess, and now we got queen c2, and now Ding played very interesting move, knight b8. The point of this move is probably just moving the knight out of the b8, out of the c6, because the knight on c6 is not doing so much there. And now after this, black can play c6, and after that black can play a lot of good stuff. So knight b8, then we got rook e1, and now rook d8, and then Nepo played h3. Idea simply probably not allowing any sort of stuff like knight g4 or stuff like that, and because it's going to be risky for white, so we got h6, knight f1, and now c6, and then black plays bishop c4. So the idea behind bishop c4 is just to keep the bishop on the very strong diagonal, Now knight a6, knight g3, we got queen c7. So queen c7 is just pretty much logical move, and after that we got bishop a2, and now b5. So b5 used the chance, Ding is using the chance of going for the queen side attack here with b5, and I pretty much would say that Ding really started grinding here for some kind of potential win and activity, but Nepo played queen e2, and suddenly all of the white's pieces, all of the white's 5 pieces are very active, and black is in the trouble about the plan. That's a problem. I really feel like Ding is in a small trouble here. In the game we got rook b8. The best move here was bishop f8 with so clearly knight c5 next, but still rook b8 is solid, and white goes for knight h4. The ideas are very clear. Queen f3 and knight f5. Two very straightforward options which are causing problems for the black's position, and pretty much black has to be very careful here about what is he gonna do next. We got bishop f8, queen f3, and now pawn takes a4, bishop h6, knight c5. Let's come back for a moment and look at this position. So here, this pawn, even that rook on b8 is touching this pawn, Nepo still goes for this move. Why? Well, Nepo is trying some sort of bishop g5 and knight f5 and completely ruining the king side. He is basically faster, and that's all what is happening. After this situation, we got knight c5. Idea behind knight c5 is either knight b3 or knight d3, maybe rook d3. Very nice move, much better than bishop rook b2, because after rook b2 white would have bishop g5, and using this pin black is going to be in a big troubles, because now knight g6 is coming up, bishop f6 is coming up, and black is having a lot of the problems here actually. So in the game we got knight c5, and now white play knight g6, trying to get bishop eventually and play bishop g5. Bishop g5 here doesn't work because of simply queen d3, rook d3, and after queen e2, it's just not so powerful position for white like before, because that queen is not controlling so many squares at this situation. So after this, we just got knight d6, trying to hit the fate, I guess, and now rook b2. Finally taking that pawn. After rook b2, white just goes knight f8, and now we got rook f8. Rook d3 actually was the other option, which is very hard to find because it just looks, I don't know, I'm not sure about this. Rook e3 doesn't work here because of queen e3, and now queen c5 is because of the bishop e3, and now after king f8 there's just simply bishop c5. The game is over. And now computer just likes this situation about rook d2 or rook d6, and f2 is hanging, but this is extremely hard position, and definitely I wouldn't go for that. So in the game happened bishop g5. In the game happened rook f8, and now white goes for bishop g5. After bishop g5, he's definitely threatening bishop f6, g takes, and going in with knight h5, knight f6. Black goes knight h7. Now, knight h7, bishop c1. And now, after bishop c1, black goes rook b5. Eventually, the better move was rook c2, because after, let's say, bishop c4, there will be knight b3. And if white captures, pawn captures, b2 is the next thing, and black is doing actually very good here. So, in the game happened rook b5, bishop a3, going for this long diagonal, and we got rook e8. And white is good. Nepo is actually very comfortable here. Nepo is better. He played bishop c4, and at least it's looking like that. Ding, at this position, find out a very nice option. That's a move bishop e6. That was a key thing in this game. I think so, because he is now holding the advantage of the white's position. How? Well, let's say white captures. Black just capture. With next rook c8, knight d3, b4, white is in real trouble. It's not clear what is white going to do, and black is going to really start pushing those strong pawns, and it's probably going to be disaster for white at this situation. So after bishop takes e6, which is probably necessary because everything else just looks wasting the time, black played knight e6, and now finally Nepo brings his knight on f5, threatening knight d6 with the fork on e8 and d6. At this situation we got c5. So c5, on the first move it looks disgusting because it's causing some light square weaknesses, but actually the move is okay because it's closing this very strong bishop on a3. So now white play queen. Queen e2 idea is a queen b5, okay, taking the free rook. Eventually, after rook b3, queen c4. And that was actual idea, to go for those pawns. Because what was the thing in this game? Nepo understood that he's actually trying to get the activity over the queen's king side and stuff like that. But after trading the light square bishops, black actually survived the whole attack on the king side. So Nepo then is bringing the queen on the other side and is trying to raise the attack on other two sides of the board, the center, and more on the queen side than on the center. Now we got queen c6, trying to just defend the pawn. Maybe could do knight c7, knight b5. I'm not completely sure what all was Nepo's idea. So what all was Ding's idea? We got bishop c1, threatening to take on a4. And now Ding goes in with the knight, trying to get the knight to e4. Eventually attacks at some point. Now queen f4, finally taking that pawn. Queen f4, rook f4. And now black goes rook c5, rook c3. So after rook c3, we got bishop b2, attacking the bishop on, attacking the rook on c3 and attacking the pawn on e5. So in the game, what happened was rook b3, bishop e5, and now finally rook b4. Just trying to examine the draw and try to force a draw, take on e4 and stuff like that. Well, Nepo played rook a5, and now Ding played rook e4, we got rook e4, knight e4, and now at this situation, white plays rook a4, attacking the knight. And this is a critical moment, which actually led to the draw which happened. So if black played the move like knight g5 after f4 and knight h7, it looks like white is starting to pressure. He might target this pawn, and it might be slightly harder for black to play this position, and he in this situation he would need it to be so defendable and so careful. So actually what Ding chooses to play is a move knight d4. So why knight d4? Because he's just trying to actually go for a drawish endgame, which is a key thing in this endgame. This endgame is just a drawish. The pawns are on the same side of the board, and there's absolutely no way for white to get anything out of this. That's a key. So after rook d4, black just goes g6, we just go knight d3. Trying to reach, I mean Nepo just trying to reach maybe some tricks through the endgame, but there's actually nothing. This player started just ruining the pieces around. Like knight f5 here is never enough for a win. It's actually enough for a draw, because white's only way to promote those two pawns is to trade fg pawn for the f pawn, which would be a draw because it's 2 versus 1. And after g4 there's just this, I mean it's just a draw. Black is just having very strong rook, and the position of the king is very safe, so there's absolutely no way for any kind of worry here. In the game, what happened was knight g4, so Nepo is trying to rotate for some things, and now we got rook e7, rook b5, rook e1, king h2. And this is still completely Drovish. There's no way for improvement. Nepo tried to rotate with his pieces. He tried to rotate with the king, but then they finally traded the rooks, and this is still a draw. And Nepo then chooses to play the move h4 in order to damage the black pawn structure, sacrificing a pawn for a moment. But Ding found very nice move here, h3, and this completely locked down to draw. In the game, it continues like this: knight c6, king f6, and now white is trying to rotate for everything, but it's just a simple draw. There's simply no way for white to power up his position and make anything good. For example, in this situation, if black would capture, we would got an interesting endgame, which is still a drawish, but black has to be careful because white would first promote, and now this is a draw because black can actually always go king h1 after queen g3 move, and this is typical endgame, which is a draw for the queen and the pawn, queen versus the pawn. The game is only drawish if there's a c pawn or either f pawn, and this position is just good for both of the sides, just a drawish game. So there was nothing, and that was the only possible try, but even that would be a draw. And now the players very soon agreed to draw after certain amount of the moves. White was trying to read something, but actually there was nothing, and Ding just successfully draw this game, which I think in his favor is good. And this now, it will be interesting to see what's gonna happen in the next game. Ding Liren is again white. The last time he was white, he actually draw the winning advantage in a very, very, very unexpected way, and it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen next. Thank you guys for watching, and if you don't mind, drop a follow or subscribe, and we will see you in next video. Bye.